Hey everyone, Lisa Martin here, your Boomi World 2026 MC. Welcome back to my Road to Boomi World vlog series. In our first episode, Boomi CMO sat down with me, Allison Biggin, and she said, Boomi World, it's not just another conference on the circuit. This is where big ideas turn into real execution. That's a key word you're going to hear about today. Episode 2, we had Chief Product and Technology Officer Ed Makowski. He made it really clear. He said, Enterprise AI, it's done experimenting. This is the execution era. And in our last conversation with Manny Gill, SVP of Product, we talked about where is this all going? Manny talked about the rise of the autonomous enterprise powered by data in motion, intelligent orchestration, and AI agents. So now the question is, how do we actually make this real? Well, I'm pleased to welcome you to episode 4. Chris Hallenbeck joins me, SVP and GM of AI Platform at Boomi. Chris, great to have you. Thanks for joining us.
It's wonderful to be here. Thank you. Looking forward to this.
Yeah. So some of the things I mentioned, all of that, execution, autonomy, agents, it all comes back to that one idea, and that's data activation. So Chris, bring it back to basics for us. When you say data activation, what does it really mean in practice?
Yeah, I mean, I love the phrase, but I get it. Some people are like, okay, what does that actually mean? The fact is everything is data, right? Whether or not I'm transferring a file, I'm integrating two systems and sending that message, whether or not I'm moving data from a database to another one, or whether or not I'm creating context for an agent, every single time I'm moving data. That's all there is. And the question is, how do I get the right data in the right format with the right quality at the right time, which these days is often real time. I need a platform that enables me to do that. And I need it to be able to do that with the highest level of security and governance. And that's what data activation is all about. How do I get the data where I need it and get it in motion, creating value?
That's it, value. But when you're talking with customers, here we are, 2026, where do you see they typically get stuck when they're trying to activate their data?
Oh, completely. They just can't get it where it needs to be, and they can't get it, and like I said, in that right format, and they get jammed up in how that's going to occur. And agentic introduces a whole new series of problems. They'd kind of gotten it down. They're like, okay, I get application, data quality. I have my kind of data warehouse, my analytic platform, but that's usually 24 hours, even up to 7 days old. I know we don't think it's true. Some companies are still that way. Agentic requires me to have that high data quality harmonized between systems in real time to create that context for the agent. And that today is where they're getting jammed up, and Boomi delivers that.
So how does Boomi close that gap, Chris, between we have a ton of data and actually being able to use it, to your point, in real time?
It's by having a platform. And we looked several years ago and we said, look, agentic is coming. And we don't think the value is going to come out with just these chatbots, these kind of copilots. There's certain instances they have some value. And we're like, okay, but it's hard to measure. We understand that the huge business impact was going to come from accelerating business processes. And how do we do that? And that led us to developing an entire platform built for this moment, several years in the making. And whether you look at McKinsey studies, MIT studies, all of them coming out and saying these horizontal platforms are good, but there's no measurable impact. Whereas these ones that are agents and they're actually entire agentic workflows that are aligned to business processes is where the true ROI is being delivered. And we built a platform for this moment.
I love how you mentioned ROI, because we talk about, this year it's all about going from experimentation to execution, but boards want ROI. So you defined data activation for us. You shared where some folks just are having, where they're getting stuck, what some of the gaps are, how Boomi closes that. But kind of summarize, and from a data activation thematic perspective, help us understand the future implications, especially where ROI is concerned.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a CIO. I'm aligned to the business. I want to create business impact. I'm like saying, okay, you guys are going to make business process changes. I'm going to have the applications ready. And yet that is a constant struggle. Huge portions of what gets developed isn't ever even used by IT. And so as much as 80%, how can we invert that? So everything IT is doing is aligned to business value and is being adopted. And that is through really close collaboration between the business units, the product teams and the IT that are aligned to them, the platform teams delivering value, and how do I line them all up and able to work incredibly quickly, getting the data where it needs to be. And that is the context for agentic, the integrations, the tasks that then are executed by agents. How can I pull all that together and do that within days and do that in collaboration with what the business wants. They can confirm that's going to drive value and get that out. But it's not just delivering that, because that's a prototype. That's not so hard. Putting that into production requires you to have all of the software development lifecycle to move that in. It requires me to be able to then have all the observability to make sure it's behaving properly. And then I need all the governance that's required from regulatory, my own internal auditors, to make sure that what I've put out there meets all my governance needs and my security needs. And that's what the platform does. So as I move things, I can just click and move them into production, and I know all that observability, that security, and that governance is managed.
You have it. I think that's kind of the unlock, because we know, you talked about it, most organizations, they already have a ton of data, but if it's sitting in silos, if it's not flowing, if it's not usable in real time, then AI doesn't work. Agents don't work. Automation doesn't scale. I think that's why on this series, Boomi leaders, and obviously elsewhere as well, have been saying data at rest is potential, but data in motion, that's the power. You mentioned collaboration, business, IT, platform. I think if we look at business impact, Chris, this is where it gets really interesting, because we've talked a lot about AI moving into execution, but to your point, only matters if it drives business value. So how should leaders think differently about their data strategy in this execution era?
Yeah. Well, one is, everyone says everything's going pure agentic. And I know, being the head of AI of a major company, and I'm going to tell you, it's not only about agents. And that's because I've been doing this for over 20 years, delivering in algorithms that accelerate business processes. This has been my role throughout my entire career. It's not by itself. We still are going to have tasks. Those tasks, I need to make sure that everyone actually gets paid on Friday. I don't want an agent deciding if they get paid on Friday. I want things that are deterministic. But I can make them more durable and more resilient if I leverage agents, still being deterministic. But then I want agents that are able to execute those when necessary. But that means they have the knowledge they get. And I need them to be able to call from the various systems, getting that access, understanding there's things like the security and the role-based access and everything, to get that context and do that in the right level of quality. And that is not easy. That's what our platform does, so that the agent can properly reason through, then call those deterministic tasks and do things correctly. That requires a platform, because I have deterministic flows, I have agentic workflows, I have data flowing in for context, tasks being executed, and I need complete observability and governance and security across that. If I can do those things and have a tool set that enables my team to do that incredibly quickly and in alignment with the business, I can create impact. And that's what we do.
So, but as we said, and you alluded to earlier, none of this happens without IT. And in our last episode with Manny, we talked about this future of the autonomous enterprise, AI agents operating at scale across the business. And we've spoken about business impact, which is the primary goal of any CIO. But what about IT? What does the Boomi platform do to help IT really be that collaboration partner and deliver value to the business?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's absolutely this aspect about how we create business impact, but there's two things. One is that agentic can actually help IT run dramatically more efficiently and take burden off them. Now I can take those resources and put them into creating business value. If I can better understand how to debug my systems, understand how to correct them quickly, how to understand how to correct them, not just correctly, but understanding all the different technical issues, the amount of effort it's going to take. Agents can help with that dramatically. We're doing that every day. So that is one, which is, how do we actually make IT themselves more efficiently? We do that. But number two is, most CIOs have creating the operating model, the structure of their teams that is to create value. They have highly technical teams that prefer things like command line interfaces. Now they're moving to things like Claude Code. We have people that are more aligned to the business. Those people tend to use no-low code user interfaces. And they even want to be working in a system that collaborates with a business. What's amazing about the Boomi platform is that it allows people to work down on things like Claude Code, but also be working in that no-low code interface that made us famous. Everyone can be working in their preferred tool sets so that they are optimally efficient in delivering value, and they can all work together. And so very few tools. Most people say, oh, you have to pick something that's more technical, or no, I'm going to go no-low code. Never has there been a system that allows you to work in any speed you want in the different technical teams to create that impact. Boomi does that. So now I can get more efficiency from my IT group delivering that business value or correcting our own internal IT issues more effectively.
And that kind of human behavior preservation is critical to the efficiency, to the productivity, to the business value. So here we are a month away almost from Boomi World. Can't believe it,
Yeah.
2026. With all this in mind, Chris, that you shared, we've talked about this is the event where ideas turn into execution. I know you can't, share any spoilers for us from Boomi World. We want to be
No
on the edge of
spoiler
our
alerts,
seats.
no.
No spoilers. We want to be edge
All
of our
right.
seats in Chicago. But at a higher level, what do you think we can look forward to learning at this Boomi World?
Well, one, the stories about the customers and hearing what's real and how we're actually creating that impact. We've been doing that across the whole past year. But in terms of announcements, because that's how I know what you're talking about. But imagine now if we could rethink about the way software is designed beyond what's kind of happening in agentic and just IT delivering value. What if we could actually expand beyond that? In such a way that we're able to create that business impact even faster. And when I say even faster, I'm talking about working with a business and doing things that can happen in hours, in which they're like, yeah, that's actually what I have a problem, and be able to move forward. And that's actually what we're going to be demonstrating. And so how do we actually even accelerate that impact through rethinking about how these platform development is done? And we've done that. And so really looking forward to what you heard from Manny. Manny, been working on this forever. I can't wait to see him announce this along with Ed. It's going to be incredible. I'm just super excited.
I think what I'm most excited about is it's not theoretical anymore. What you guys have all shared is how do you actually activate your data? How do you deploy and orchestrate these agents at scale? How do you govern them securely and manage them at scale? What Boomi's talking about, what you're talking about, real customers, real outcomes. And that's where people go from thinking about it to actually doing it. Chris, thank you so much for sharing your insights, for inspiring folks to register for the event. Can't wait to see you all May 11th through 14th in Chicago.
I can't wait to see you there as well.
Yeah.
This is fun. Thanks.
And to those watching, I think if you step back and you look at this whole Boomi World vlog series that we've done, the stories, I think it's really clear. AI has moved, we said this, from experimentation to execution. Enterprises are moving from connected to autonomous. And the thing that makes all of it possible is what Chris talked about, activated data. That's the shift. And if you want to understand how to actually make that real inside your organization, then Boomi World 2026 is where it all comes together. We look forward to seeing you in Chicago, May 11th through 14th. For Chris Hallenbeck, I'm Lisa Martin. See you in Chicago.